I have a question, Stuart. I read in Spiritual Cannibalism where Rudy says, with consciousness and discipline, we can learn to change. Could you talk about the process of that, please?
Well, first you have to build consciousness. And you don't build consciousness without developing a system inside yourself that it can be conscious. In other words, it's what I talk about all the time. I mean, if you're not balanced inside, if your heart isn't open, your mind is, full of chirping canaries, uh, there's not going to be any consciousness. You are a product of the tension of the world, and you haven't mastered your inner self so that you get swept away in that tension, and with it goes all your consciousness. Your whole life is spent thinking about what you're going to do and, all this stuff. So that's what he's talking about. You got to build that consciousness inside. We have to build it, and we have to use what's available in our lives to develop this. And that is the focus, and that is the discipline, is developing a chakra system that will transform you from an unconscious person to a conscious person. From a person who is really a prey to tension and chaos and inner turmoil and anxiety, neurosis, fear, et cetera, et cetera. And you suddenly become a person that has love, has wisdom, has a quiet mind. Why? Only because you have built the system inside that allows you to do it. Otherwise, it's just reincarnation until you find a path that teaches you how to do this. So when he's talking about that, that's what he's talking about.
I see.
And it's something that we all can do. You don't have to go to the hardware store to find the tools. Everybody is born with them. We all have minds. We all have, will. We all have breath. We all, have needs. We're born with these things. Then it's a matter of using them so that we can transform this unconscious person who is living as a slave to their own thinking and this and that. I mean, some people want that, and I have no problems with that, as long as they accept it and the tensions that come along with it and don't complain about it. So perfectly all right to be an intellectual, to have, to try to spend your life logically figuring out a world that I don't think can ever be figured out. But people do it, and I respect it. And that seems to be their limitation in this lifetime, although they think that's what the world is about. So I can't, judge them or anything like that. But when I hear people complaining all the time about, all the craziness of the world and this, well, that's your world. Accept it, learn from it, grow because of it. And what Rudy is talking about is the transformation of that chaos to an open heart, into love, into a quiet mind, into a connection with energy that is infinite in the universe. That energy that can flow through us and create an amazing life for us. But it takes discipline, it takes focus, and it takes the one thing that people don't want to do, and that's work themselves. Really work on themselves. That's the big problem. So it's like Shakespeare, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day. That's what it's like. It's an endless amount of tomorrows until one day we're not here anymore. There's no more tomorrows. I don't know how to make it clearer. And the thing that's missing, the big gap in people, is doing the work they have to do on themselves. That will enable them. I mean, I lose more students because they have to work at this. It's really a riot, right? They have to work at this and they disappear. No, I used to have people, well, what do I need to work at this? I live in the grace of the guru. The guru is doing all the work. All I have to do is bathe in the grace of the guru, and, it doesn't work. You want to honor the teacher, do the work in yourself to grow spiritually and have your own independent connection with God. That will honor the guru, and that will be living in the grace of the guru, because you're using the teachings of the guru to develop your inner life.
That's so great. Thank you.
You're welcome, Chris. Now I hope people apply this. I talk about this I'm sick of talking about it. I talk about it all the time, and people have to apply it. It's not just words. I mean, these are things that have taken me years to learn, that I can encapsulate in 5 minutes and give you a paragraph out of years of having read all these novels. Read all the spiritual teachings to encapsulate it into a paragraph, make it simple and clear that people can understand it. And then it's a matter of doing it. For me, it wasn't just listening to Rudy talk. I did it. Does anyone else have a question you'd like to?
I have a follow-up question, Stuart. You also have told us that you have to nibble away at it and be patient with yourself because it's hard to change.
Well, yeah, you're not going to consume the entire universe in one bite. So it takes time, it takes patience. Above everything, it takes a need to grow, which will force you to have patience and force you to understand that you're in a race that is very similar to the tortoise and the hare. You know that story, that old fable? The hare the tortoise crosses the finish line because the hare procrastinates, has all the, well, I can, he's so slow, I can run later. So you've got to nibble at it, you've got to work at it, you have to have patience, and you've got to ultimately understand you are trying to attain the single most difficult thing that a human being can attain on this planet, and that's to be one with God. There's nothing tangible in it other than what manifests in one's life. Other than that, what do it's all some metaphysical reality. And at the same time, spirit is what really nurtures us, nourishes us, helps us to grow. I mean, if you sit down at a gourmet meal, you're not going to consume the whole meal in one bite. You nibble at it, It's patience, it's time, it's not getting upset at yourself because you haven't become perfect. You understand? Mad people think they're perfect. Anyone who truly wants a spiritual life understands that it's not about perfection, it's about getting closer to perfection. God is perfect. The rest of us nibble at it and grow with it and evolve with it and learn from it, get knowledge, get wisdom, learn how to live on the earth. It takes a lifetime to learn all these things. I remember years ago, I went to a concert. I think it was Vladimir Horowitz at Carnegie Hall or somebody. And I'll never forget, he went and took one finger and pressed a note. And the entire hall filled up with the sound of that note. I said, how the hell does he do that? Well, if you go and talk to him, well, I've been practicing for 40 years. I have mastered the piano. I have mastered the sound. I have learned how to do that over years of practice. 8 hours, 9 hours a day,
Yeah. It's very clear.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I'll just finish this. That's why I have so many classes every week, which very few people attend all of them, I always said I'm the only one who comes to all the class. Everybody else has other things to do. But I do this because I understand the training it takes to learn what I am talking about, to master what I am talking about. Does anyone else have a question? And all it does is add to one's creative capacity. I said to Stuart, you finish writing books. And here I am in the 42nd chapter of a book on Tantra. It just comes. You understand? It comes. It comes because you're open and the universe sends you creativity in where your talents lie. I'm not going to try to play the saxophone. I'm not going to get very far. But I have certain talents and it comes. I hope you'll read the one that I'm going to post tomorrow, because that's something that should be on the bathroom mirror of every person who's brushing their teeth in the morning, to read that and say, okay. Does anyone else have a question I would like to ask? Just to finish up for today, it looks like there's going to be a retreat in France at the chateau. If you're interested in coming, get in touch with Jennifer. There's already like 18 or 19 people that have signed up for this. So we expect maybe 25 or 30. There might be more because they want to bring other sanghas and other groups of meditators, and I had to work all that out. But it looks like that might, I don't know. I told the person, I said, look, if 100 people show up, I'll just get big enough to do it, But anyway, I don't expect that. I expect to have a nice group, and the place is pretty spectacular. And what is even more spectacular and almost a miracle is that we are able to live and use the facilities of this place, and they're not charging us for it. And I think that's just amazing. I've never heard of anything like that. Kitchen, rooms, it's all going to be, the only thing they're going to charge for is that when you want to wash your sheets, they're going to charge you 15 euros. That's it. So if you're interested in attending this thing, it's open to everyone. If you have friends that want to attend it, are interested, they're welcome, but they would have to know the exercise to come. Because I can't have people sitting there and doing 10 different forms of meditation. It'll just disrupt the class. And another thing we have to work out is the cooking. There are vegetarians, there are vegans, there are meat eaters. Everybody has different diets. So we have, I remember Rudy was always funny because he always had a table that there was something for the vegetarians, for the vegans, for the meat eaters. There was always something on the table for everybody. And I think we have to think like that and not, well, it's just going to be pure vegetarian food or pure whatever, so that there's room for everybody, whatever their diet is, to come and do it and be there and be part of it. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, well, God bless you all, and thank you. And anyway, look, I keep saying it, you're probably tired of hearing it, but God bless you all for being here, for being part of this, part of my life, helping me to grow. And there'll be a meditation class on Sunday. I'm looking forward to seeing you. God bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Bye.